Good evening, I'm Cesar Drilon.
I'm Pauline Verzosa.
And I'm Sean Yao.
The big stories tonight. The intensity of Crising has barely diminished as it moves closer to northern Luzon. Areas on the tropical storm's path should brace for flooding and possible landslides as triggered by severe rains.
And after his meeting with a self-proclaimed whistleblower, Justice Secretary Boying Remulla announces a development in their investigation. Now they are looking at the possible involvement of at least 30 personalities in the case of disappeared sabongeros.
And the green energy auction gets over 140 bidders, all raring to join the government's push to include renewables in the power generation mix. Later, we speak to DOE Secretary Sharon Garin about this initiative and its impact on the renewable energy market.
Baha po ang aming kinatatakutan.
Magtistis lang po muna tayo, delikado po.
Provinces up north are now experiencing the effects of Tropical Storm Crising. While precautionary measures are already in place, including early evacuation, some residents are opting to stay in their homes. Meantime, the national government is promising enough help for those who will be impacted by the storm. Merimon Reyes with tonight's big story.
Local officials in Alcala, Cagayan blasted this on their public address system over and over as they urged residents in low-lying areas to preemptively evacuate in anticipation of the effects of Tropical Storm Crising. Barangay Damurong is typically the first to get inundated whenever the Cagayan River rises. But many residents still opted to stay behind, including Gemma and her family. That's despite floodwaters reaching up to 10 feet in their home whenever there's a storm.
Mababa pa na ng ilog, sir. Hindi pa malaki kasi pumunta kami sa sir, sa barangay hall. Kung lalakas.
Like Gemma, residents had their livelihood to think about. On Friday morning, locals have been bringing their animals to safer grounds, pasturing them away from the riverside. Even barangay officials admit the urgency of evacuation does not hit people until floodwaters already reach dangerous levels.
Nasanay na kasi kami, sir, na saka lang kami lilikas. Pag nakikita namin tubig, na umapo na sa lupa. Nakikita na namin sa na umapo na talaga.
Friday night up to dawn on Saturday, Pag-asa is forecasting non-stop rains in Cagayan.
Baha po ang aming kinatatakutan dahil ang Alcala at ang Cagayan ang catch basin ng lahat ng tubig na galing sa buong Sierra Madre Mountains, Isabela at Nueva Vizcaya.
Still, the provincial government is hoping for a zero casualty during Crising's onslaught. They have prepared evacuation centers and food packs for residents who finally evacuate.
Kung kayo ay kailangan nilikas, sundin nyo sila. Pwedeng magkaroon ng surge ng baybay sa atin at kayo ay matatabunan ng mataas na tubig at malulunod. Kaya yun ang pangangamba ko. Kasi sanay naman tayo sa mga bagyo, pero hindi tayo sanay sa mga ganong sitwasyon.
Still up north, huge waves crashed along the shores of Bagudpud, Ilocos Norte on Friday afternoon. Signages have been put up to warn residents of a possible storm surge. Fishing and swimming have also been prohibited after Pag-asa hoisted signal number 2 over Ilocos provinces. But there are daring souls who tried to fish near the shores.
Kaya pa naman, sir, kaso kahit na ganito yung tubig, meron pa rin nahuhuli, kaso maunti-unti.
Sa mga kabarangay ko pong kagaya kong mangingisda po, magtistis lang po muna tayo, bawal pong pumalaot kasi delikado po.
In Palawan, Coast Guard personnel have been rescuing stranded residents from flooded areas since the morning of July 18. They were able to bring at least 88 families to safety. In Cebu City, a small motor bangka was photographed while it capsized following raging waters under the viaduct in Barangay Pasil. These men reportedly ignored warnings not to venture out into the water. Fortunately, they were able to go back to shore. According to a disaster meeting council, the city has been inundated due to the southwest monsoon or habagat since the start of the week. Disaster officials have recommended the declaration of a state of calamity to enable the release of funds for repairs, cleanup, and declogging of waterways. Meanwhile, President Bongbong Marcos inspected DSWD's National Resource Operations Center in Pasay on Friday. Here, there is a fully automated system of repacking that could yield 25,000 relief packs per day. Manual repacking produces only 9,000 relief packages in 24 hours.
Maganda dito sa bagong makinarya na ginagamit natin, mas mapapabilis at mas mapapaganda ang ating pagpacking ng mga relief goods para ibibigay natin sa ating mga evacuees. Sana hindi na lumakas yung bagyo, pero kung sakali ay lalakas pa, nakaredy naman tayo.
At the moment, relief packs have already been distributed to provinces that experience the effects of habagat, such as Cebu and Negros. DSWD has also pre-positioned aid for Northern Luzon. Mobile journalist Mary Reyes, we are One News.
Here's an update on Tropical Storm Krising. As of 5 p.m., according to Pagasa's bulletin, it is definitely causing stormy conditions up north as Krising's eye moves closer to northern Cagayan. Live satellite image from interactive weather website Windy shows the entire country covered by thick rain clouds, apparently from Krising and the southwest monsoon. Signal number 2 is up over several provinces. Batanes, Cagayan, including the Babuyan Islands, Isabela, Apayao, Kalinga, northern and central portions of Abra, eastern portion of Ifugao, Ilocos Norte, and the northern portion of Ilocos Sur. Meanwhile, these areas are under signal number 1. We have Quirino, Nueva Vizcaya, Benguet, the rest of Mountain Province, Ifugao, Abra, and Ilocos Sur, the northern portions of Pangasinan and Aurora, and over the northeastern part of Nueva Ecija.
Now let's discuss Tropical Storm Krising in detail with News 5's weather specialist, Alvin Pura. Alvin, ano ba ang lagay ng panahon dyan sa binabayo ng Krising?
Yes, sa kasalukuyan, medyo malapit na po ito pong bagyong Krising dito sa northern tip ng Northern Luzon. So meron tayong masungit na panahon dyan na may kasamang pabugso-bugsong hangin, particularly dito po sa extreme Northern Luzon, kasama po dyan ng Batanes, maging dito sa Cagayan, kasama po dyan ng Calayan at Babuyan Group of Islands, Kalinga, Abra, Ifugao, Mountain Province, maging dito sa Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, kasama na rin po dyan ang Isabela. Mga pabugso-bugsong hangin din at mga pagulan ang aasahan natin. Dito po sa natitirang bahagi ng Ilocos Region, kasama po dyan ang La Union at Pangasinan, maging dito sa mga kabundukan ng Cordillera. Maliban po sa direct effect nitong bagyong Krising, meron din tayong epekto ng habagat na siya pong nagpapaulan sa malaking bahagi ng ating bansa sa natitirang bahagi ng Luzon at nag-extend pa yan hanggang dito sa northern part ng Mindanao. Yung ating mga malalakas na pagulan, mostly concentrated sa western section ng Luzon, including Zambales, Bataan, Occidental Mindoro, Palawan, dito po sa Western Visayas, kasama dyan ang Antique, Guimaras, and Negros Occidental. Dito naman sa Calabarzon, kasama po dyan ang Batangas at Cavite. Sa Metro Manila, we are currently experiencing light to moderate to at times heavy rains at ito po ay magpapatuloy hanggang bukas dahil sa epekto ng habagat. Ses?
Alvin, pag-usapan natin yung epekto ni Bagyong Krising sa hanging habagat o southwest monsoon kasi normally baka nga minsan mas malakas pa yung mga ulan na pagdala ng habagat kaysa dun sa bagyo. Pag i-compare natin yung rainfall, kamusta? Yung nabanggit mo sa west, yun yung mga apektado ng habagat.
Yes, yun yung ating mga pag-ulan na directly associated sa Bagyong Krising is yung mga areas na nandito sa Northern Luzon. Pero kung mapapansin natin dito sa ating satellite image, mostly yung western section ng ating bansa or mostly yung buong part ng ating bansa, concentrated sa western section yung ating mga pagulan, ay nakakaranas din tayo ng malalakas na pagulan. Yan po ay medyo mas mahirap i-estimate dahil nga continuous yung paghila ng ating habagat na galing dito or na pinapalakas dito pong Bagyong Krising. May mga times talaga na mas malakas yung pag-ulan na dulot ng habagat dahil sa yung characteristics ng habagat natin, nagsisimula yan, nabubuo pa lang dito yan sa dagat. So para yung conveyor belt na lumalapit unti-unti sa ating landmass or kalupaan. Minsan may mga nabubuo ng thunderstorms diyan, pumupunta sa atin as malawak na thunderstorms. So minsan heavy rains yan na may kasamang mga thunderstorms na mabilis magpabaha at magdala ng mga flash floods at landslides. Mas madali pang bantayan yung ating mga bagyo or yung ating mga pagulan sa bagyo dahil sumasama yan dun sa sirkulasyon ng bagyo. Unlike this habagat, malawak yung ating concentration ng coverage nito at again, meron tayong tinatawag na monsoonal trough or yung mga areas na low pressure systems dito, bukod sa krising na nagpapalakas ng habagat, meron din tayong inaasahang humila ng habagat besides dito sa bagyong krising.
Alvin, may possibility din ba na lumakas itong si Tropical Storm Krising into typhoon category at kailan ba siya aalis ng Philippine Area of Responsibility?
Ngayong gabi, inaasahan natin na posibleng maglandfall or dumikit dito sa mga baybaying dagat ng Santa Ana, Cagayan, etong bagyong Krising. Pero antayin natin ang official statement dyan ng Pag-asa dahil dati, kapag sumabit na yung kanyang eye wall, is considered na landfall. Pero ngayon, dapat yung gitna mismo niya, medyo malawak yung gitna ng bagyong Krising, yan po ay, kung hindi man maglandfall sa Santa Ana, Cagayan, babaybayin niya ng Calayan at Babuyan Group of Islands. Dahil nasa dagat pa yan, may possibility pa po yan lumakas. Pero sa ngayon, hindi natin inaasahan yan na maging typhoon dito sa loob ng ating Philippine Area of Responsibility. Pwede po yan lumakas kapag nakarating na dito sa southern portion ng China. Kasabay ng pagbaybay niyan dito sa Calayan at Babuyan Group of Islands, pupunta yan dito sa may West Philippine Sea, sa itaas na bahagi nito after ng Luzon Strait, mamayang madaling araw at bukas ng tanghali, possible na nasa labas na yan ng ating Philippine Area of Responsibility.
Alvin, dahil typhoon season nga, meron bang paparating?
Nakasunod.
Na iba. Letter D. Meron ba?
Napakagandang tanong niyan, Sis. Kahit na nakalabas na ito pong bagyong Krising, patuloy tayong makaka-experience ng inflow ng habagat papunta sa kanya. Hihina lang ng bahagya yung ating habagat by Sunday hanggang Monday. Pero since active nga, yung tinatawag nating monsoonal trough, itong monsoonal trough para yung intertropical convergence zone. Kadalasan dyan nagsisimula yung ating mga low pressure system at mga bagyo. Active yan sa ngayon, so meron tayong mga possible na mabuong circulation dito sa taas na bahagi ng ating bansa. By next week, Monday till Tuesday, meron tayong mga possible na low pressure area mabuo dito sa northeastern portion ng ating bansa. If ever makalayo na po ito pong bagyong Krising, hinihilan nito ang habagat papunta sa kanya, pero may sasalo po niyan sa susunod na linggo. So hindi natin inaasahan na mawawala or hihina ng tuluyan yung ating habagat. Hihina ng bahagya yan, pero magpapatuloy itong makaapekto sa ating bansa in the next few days pa hanggang sa susunod na linggo. Kasabay nga ng possible circulation o low pressure system na mabuo dito sa northeastern portion ng ating bansa.
So what you're saying, Alvin, is I guess, ang weekend natin lahat ay magiging gloomy at maulan.
And the next week.
And the next week.
Oo. Tama?
Yes.
Huwag lalabas ng walang payong at kapote.
Oo, tama yan, Sis. Meron tayong paghina ng habagat by Sunday. Bukas, pagtawid ng bagyong Krising, mostly yung concentration ng ating pagulan ay malilipat sa western section ng ating bansa. Mababawasan yung pagulan natin dito sa mga areas na nasa east or yung facing Pacific. Malilipat dito sa western section ng ating bansa dahil doon sa effect ng habagat. By Sunday, mas mababawasan pa yung ating pagulan, particularly dito sa Visayas at Mindanao. Pero again nga, yung sa binabantayan nating sama ng panahon, possible na mabuo next week. Yan naman po ang magpapalakas ng habagat or southwest monsoon midweek next week hanggang sa darating na next weekend. So again, if ever meron tayong mga pagulan, yan po ay mga possible na thunderstorms na dulot ng ating habagat or southwest monsoon. Hihina ng bahagya pero hindi po tuloy ang mawawala. Kaya again, this weekend hanggang bukas dito sa Metro Manila and sa mga areas na malapit dito, Central Luzon, Calabarzon, and Mimaropa, maging sa Western Visayas, always mag-ready po tayo sa mga possible na mga pag-ulan. If ever may mga lakad tayo, if hindi naman ganun ka-importante, mag-stay na lang tayo sa bahay para makaiwas sa disgrasya.
Alright, maraming salamat, Alvin. Napakalalim at extensive ng iyong paliwanag. That was News 5's weather specialist, Alvin Pura.
Well, bad weather has put a temporary halt to the search for missing sabongeros in Batangas. Rains over the Taal Lake led to poor underwater visibility. The search will resume as soon as weather permits. Meantime, there are now at least 30 possible suspects in the case of disappeared cockfight enthusiasts. This was revealed after Justice Secretary Boying Remulla's meeting with self-proclaimed whistleblower Julie Patidongan. Although no details were given, Remulla said he found Patidongan's information reliable. Patidongan is still working on his affidavit, and it is still not clear if he will be made a state witness in the case. Aside from the new suspects, businessman Atong Ang, actress Gretchen Barreto, and 15 police officers were earlier implicated by Patidongan to the Sabongeros' disappearance.
So far, so good. Very reliable. We're still getting some information and clarifications about everything. Kasi marami talaga siyang data na alam eh. Marami siyang alam talaga. So, we have to know what he knows.
We're just going to take a quick break, but coming up, the Energy Department makes a push for renewable sources through more public-private tie-ups. We'll be speaking to DOE Chief Sharon Garin about this and more when the big story returns. Keep it here on One News.
Welcome back to the big story. A total of 142 bidders have qualified for the fourth round of the Green Energy Auction. This is an initiative of the Department of Energy to fulfill the country's goal of increasing renewable energy sources. Among the participating firms with qualified bids include Citicorp Renewable Energy Corp., San Miguel Global Power Holdings Corp., ASEN Corp., Aboitiz Power Corp., and First Gen Corporation. In a statement, the Energy Department said these companies were chosen based on their technical, legal, and financial capabilities necessary to take part in the government's long-term clean energy targets.
The Energy Department's Bids and Evaluation Committee has received over 230 bids, with Citicorp submitting the most proposals at 27. The auction will be conducted on September 2, with results to be announced on October 22nd. Winning projects will be granted a 20-year contract to begin between 2026 and 2029. The Energy Department is offering 9,553 megawatts of renewable energy capacity through ground-mounted, rooftop, and floating solar, as well as onshore wind projects. It has also allocated an additional 1,100 megawatts for solar projects integrated with energy storage systems. The Philippines is eyeing to bring the share of renewable energy in the power mix to 35% by 2030 and up to 50% by 2040.
Now let's talk about this further, as well as other projects of the Department of Energy. And joining us tonight is DOE Secretary Sharon Garin. Welcome back to the big story.
Good evening, Tess, and to everyone.
You must be elated at the energetic participation of those who've shown interest in the auction.
Yeah, 230 or 240 joined, and that shows the appetite of the investors. Not just foreigners, and mostly a lot of local participants, because they want to join the auction. So we're very relieved, and hopefully we meet our targets by 2030.
And of course, usap-usapan ngayon, no, Secretary Garin, that the ERC has undergone a change in leadership. With the new incoming leadership coming in, how will this impact the green energy auction in any way, or will it even?
I don't think it will, because it's a change of leadership doesn't mean that there's a change in the system that we do. The Green Energy Auction is actually an initiative of the Department of Energy. The role of ERC is just to make sure that we protect the people, the consumers, from the high prices of electricity. So iba naman yung role nila. So hopefully everything, I think the change will happen in August pa naman. So we're not very worried about the change in leadership in ERC.
Okay, balikan na lang natin yung Green Energy Auction. You're working with the ADB as well as the National Electrification Administration, or NEA. What are their roles exactly, and can you laymanize this for us? No? Ano yung role? Kasi I think you're bidding out the assets of the NEA?
You mean the national electrification? I think that's more on NEA is the electrification. If we talk about privatization, that would be under PISALM, ano? Ang PISALM kasi yun yung nagpa-privatize. Halimbawa, meron tayong asset na yung CBK, yung sa Kaliraya. So nabenta na yun. We bid it out, and it was the winning bidder was the Aboitiz led consortium, which was about 36 billion pesos. So that's an added income for our government. So nakakatulong din yan. So why are we privatizing? Because under EPIRA, bakit natin binibenta yung mga assets? Kasi gusto na ang EPIRA kasi yung batas natin, it's deregulating or privatizing the electricity industry. So lahat po, ang government, as much as possible, we don't participate in the generation of electricity or even distribution. So ngayon po nabenta na yon. And NEA is it's a different It's a different agency. It does electrification. Yun yung mga distribution companies natin. Meralco is a distribution company. NEA takes care of the electric co-ops in the provinces.
This shift to renewable or increase in renewable projects, renewable energy projects, will it bring down, will people feel the effects of the lower cost of electricity soon?
Says it's it's a matter of supply and demand, no? Parang ano lang yan, pag sobrang dami yung supply mo, sobrang daming do supply mo, so bababa yung pressure dyan is magko-compete yung mga nagpo-produce ng electricity like any other product, no? So, pag dumami yung renewables, not just renewables, other non-renewables na electricity, then it will there's a downward pressure in economics, no, na bababa yung presyo kasi dumadami na yung nagbebenta, so nagko-compete sila. If you were asking if it's immediate, technically no, kasi ano pa naman yan,
matagal pa yung gestation period.
Magko-construct sila and then kailangan it's available for the consumer, so it takes time naman, pero ang delivery kasi nitong latest kasi na earliest is 2026 if I'm not mistaken, so
that's next year.
Mabilis lang kasi mag-construct ng solar yan.
And renewable is cheaper, is it not?
Solar, yes. Kasi medyo na mature na yung technology niya. I mean, medyo dati kasi nung umpisa, mahal siya. Pero ngayon marami nang nakaka-produce ng more efficient and cheaper. Actually, China is one of the best products kasi mas mura at mas efficient siya. But there's also other renewables like wind. Wind is still more expensive. So, but I do believe that in time naman, technology will improve and more efficient na siya. So, bababa rin siya eventually. But the cheapest right now is solar.
Well, Secretary, back in 2022, the government revived its interest in nuclear energy. And I wanted to ask about your roadmap because the government has set a target of at least 1,200 megawatts of nuclear power by 2032. Where are we in terms of that, Secretary?
We're progressing very well, lalo na kakapasa lang ng batas ng Kongreso. And kailangan yan kasi kailangan medyo, why do we need a law for nuclear? Kailangan siya safe, secure, with safeguards siya. Kasi we don't want to build just because nagmamadali tayo. We need to make sure that it's safe kasi there's many fear naman about nuclear power plants. So we want to make sure that it's safely done, safely constructed, regulated, lahat na parts niyan dapat connected in connection sa grid and everything else. It has to be safe. Even internationally, we have to follow that. So meron tayong batas. That means we will have Philatom will be the one regulating the safety of the technology. Tapos meron ng plano yung DOE. May roadmap na kami how many megawatts do you want in the next decade. And na-review na tayo ng International Atomic Agency, which we passed naman yung review nila. Now we have to review again because they want to make sure na rin that we do it properly. It's also guidance for us. No? So medyo maganda yung progress ng nuclear, and hopefully by next year we'll be ready to receive applications for licenses already to build a nuclear power plant. So ang target niyan is by umpisa tayo sa 1,200, double siya by another 4 years, then another 2,400, and then 4,800. That's the target, and our target is very ambitious, pero why not, no?
Kamusta yung opposition, Sec? Kasi, I mean, may mga tao talagang allergic when they hear the word nuclear. Have you kind of assuaged their fears or their misgivings?
Nuclear is one of the safest, actually. Just that there has been, actually, compared mo naman of the hundreds of nuclear power plants around the world, there's been 2 accidents, no? There's been 2 accidents, ang Fukushima at yung Chernobyl. But the rest, very safe yung record nila. There's been more accidents in coal and other technologies, pero ito lang kasi nuclear is there has been a lot of
Depends on the location, if I may interrupt, Secretary. Depends on the location of the plant.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's correct. So ginagawa namin, we have had a survey already on nuclear acceptance level, Philippines. It's very high. We've done 2 times already the survey. Mga 70% naman ang acceptance rate niya. But of course, once you see it in your neighborhood, then that's a different thing na.
True. So you won't tell us yet where you're surveying?
No, it's a national survey. So now once we have to identify the sites na, and the proponents will tell us, oh, we want to build in this province, and then there we have to make sure that the acceptance rates is proper. Now, so hindi naman yan pipilitin. No, hindi naman pipilitin kasi they have to live with it. There might be other areas also that are more receptive to nuclear. Pero that's the role of the industry and DOE to have people learn more about nuclear. It's their decision. Kaya kailangan we tell them what is risky and what is not risky. Kailangan lang, but what we won't build, I don't think anybody can build in any area where people don't want nuclear power plants. So,
actually, Secretary, I wanted to ask which regions are you considering right now, if you can tell us, and because there is one in Bataan already, and will you be focusing on traditional large-scale power plants, or are you also exploring some of those small modular reactors?
we have done few site evaluations already. We have very good scientists in the Philippines from Philbox, DOST. Marami sila yan. Magagaling yung mga scientists natin. So we've done that. They've gone to the areas already. One site, I don't want to mention all the sites kasi it might worry some people. Kasi these are tests of, we're practicing our expertise on how to evaluate sites. For example, one test that we have done, of course, Bataan, we've already done it. Pero for example, isa is Masbate was one of the areas that we did the test if it's suitable. And it's one of the places also that there are areas in Masbate, for example, that can pass, that where you can be allowed to construct a nuclear power plant. Pero we can always do the test, but it has, once they apply, they have to go through the whole motion of the Philatom licensing. Kaya marami pa yung stages na kailangan gawin para just make sure it's safe. So, but yes, Philippines, there's so many volcanoes in the Philippines, but I think Japan has even it more, worse pa nga yung geography na yun. But they do have safe nuclear power. So we do have it.
I'd like to move to energy security now that you have the mandate, Secretary. What is your plan in terms of improving energy security in the country?
There's many ways to have energy security. I think more for me is the energy sovereignty, where we are not subject to what happens in the Middle East or in Europe or kasi pag, like what happened when there's a chaos in some other parts, then the diesel goes up, the price goes up, and we're dependent on that. So, ang sovereignty, energy sovereignty for me is like we have to get our own resources. So we have to have more gas in
we
the
depend on
Philippines.
over 50% still from foreign sources.
Even more, sis, no? Kasi our coal is imported from Indonesia, for example. So, and coal, I think about 90% or even more of the coal that we use is imported. So, luckily, wala namang trouble sa Indonesia, pero it doesn't give us the security that we need. So, the more we have coal, but not that much. We have gas, but it's not explored. We have renewable, but we have to build more of the renewable power plant. So those are things that will give us security. And it will take time lang. But I think we have to do that. And luckily, the president recognizes that we do have to explore more. So that's why, for example, he visited Malampaya to see how is it going yung new wells nila. So I think it's in line with the kung ano yung gusto ng presidente. And we need to secure the future of the Philippines, not just for until 2028, but way beyond that also.
What's your target in terms of bringing down the foreign needs of the country?
It will take time. Kasi, dahil halimbawa, coal, no? Gusto mo, you transition to cleaner, no? You either go to renewable or gas. But gas power plants take time to build, like 3-5 years. Renewable energy, we can only push so much. Merong investors tayo, but like, you have solar power plants that is only good enough for the day. At night, they also need power. So it will take time. We have to get have them aligned with our targets. So we need to have more power plants, and that will take time talaga. Hindi yan immediate. Probably not soon enough for everyone.
Secretary Guerin, I was wondering, if we take a broad look at our needs, at our supply needs, how many megawatts are we lacking really? And what is your target to hit that X number of megawatts? Para lang at least meron tayong short-term parang security?
Hindi naman tayo kulang eh. Hindi naman tayo kulang, but
Eksakto lang.
Eksakto lang.
Minsan sakto.
Pero minsan, di ba, pag masira yung isa, then we might have a red alert or something like that. And every part of the Philippines is a different problem. Like Visayas is different from Luzon, and Mindanao is different from the rest. So we need it takes time really to make changes. Yun yung mahirap sa energy kasi we don't have control over our industry kasi it's private driven. So lucky enough with the naumpisa ni Secretary Popo Lotilla, the policies are in place. And the market is responding, more renewables are coming in. So parang naman, the pace is good. It's just that we cannot force it right away kasi it's not, you can't construct a nuclear power plant in
It's capital intensive as well.
Labor intensive.
or even drilling wells for gas or oil. It takes about 10 years to have that developed. So, pero we have to start. Kaya mga dating mga administration, probably it's because it's so long term na we didn't have any drills for last few years. Ngayon lang tayo nagkabago with Malampaya under the current administration. But lucky enough, the president sees that it's legacy work. Probably he won't get the credit for most of the things that he's doing now. Pero maybe our children will benefit from it.
Speaking of Malampaya, Secretary, like where is it at? Because working in news, you always say, di ba, in 2024, baka maubos na siya, ganyan, we have more to tap. So, where is Malampaya's reserves really at the moment, as far as you know?
I think it will run out by 2027 to 2030, somewhere there, no? Kasi hindi mo naman talaga ma-measure exactly. So that's it. That's not far. That's about 2-3 years from now. So, but Malampaya, it was extended during this administration. And when they were extended, they were told, kailangan mag-drill kayo ng mga bago. Nag-drill ng bago. So now, they're drilling now.
They're drilling, and they're also another company is building a facility for imported LNG, right?
So sa gas kasi meron tayong indigenous. That's what we want more. Pero Malampaya is drilling 3 wells. 2 wells, more or less, medyo positive kami dyan. Medyo we feel like there should be something there. And then there's one exploratory. So they're drilling now. We'll know within the year. Before November, siguro we'll know. And then once they find it, they have to lay down the pipes and everything else. So 2026 probably will have more electricity from Malampaya. So that should cover yung pag-deplete ng Malampaya right now, yung original. Now, if we don't have enough gas, And there's more power plants now that will be built because we're hoping there will be more built for on gas kasi cleaner siya than coal. If there's not enough, we have two which are also built during this administration, dalawang regasification facilities. What does that mean? When you import, kasi hindi mo na-import yung gas mismo na in gas form. So, nililiquify siya. That's what called liquefied natural gas, no? So, pag liquid ang pagdating niya dito, so, kailangan mo i-gas siya. That's what called regasification facility. We have two now. And so, that means that in case we don't have enough, then we can import. And they are already importing kasi not enough naman talaga.
Yeah.
So,
Yun lang imported.
Yeah. We're secure in that sense,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Ang problem lang kasi, if it's imported, it's like diesel or oil, no? When there's something happening in the other side of the world, it goes up and down also. Volatile din yung presyo.
But in a way, energy security is
Yes.
the primordial reason. Well, we thank you.
Yeah.
Sige po, last words from you, Secretary, dahil nakukulangan na tayo ng oras.
Yes, ma'am. I hope I'm so honored to be in this position, and this is like my first interview as a new Secretary of Department of Energy, and I hope I'll be deserving of the position that I've been given, and I thank the President for that, and hopefully every time we give you good news and for a better and more secure and energy-wise in the Philippines. So salamat po. Thank you very much, and good evening for everyone.
We thank you for napili nyo kami na mauna. Dahil makulit kami sa inyo. I know.
Medyo na. Tiyak pikilan.
That was Department of Energy Secretary Sharon Garin.
And as previously announced, President Bongbong Marcos will be heading to the United States on July 20 to 22. This will be an official visit to Washington upon the invitation of his U.S. counterpart, Donald Trump. This is Marcos's fifth trip to the U.S. since taking office. He is the first ASEAN head of state to be invited by Mr. Trump in his second term. On July 21st, Marcos is expected to meet with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. July 22nd is the bilateral meeting with Trump. The two leaders are expected to hold discussions on strengthening cooperation, particularly in the areas of economic development and security. Marcos is expected to bring up the 20% tariff imposed by the U.S. on Philippine exports, as well as regional issues and tensions in the West Philippine Sea.
The purpose of this visit is to further strengthen the Philippines-United States alliance, to proactively engage the U.S. in all aspects of the relations. We hope, of course, to arrive at a bilateral trade agreement or a deal on reciprocal trade that is mutually acceptable, mutually beneficial for both our countries.
First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos will not be joining the President in his U.S. visit. Mrs. Marcos will be in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia for a working visit and an engagement with OFWs there.
We're pausing for another quick breather, but when we return, one mountaineer is going around the Philippines to campaign for ethical traveling. We will be sitting down with Lito de Viterbo next. Stay with us.
The big story is back with an extraordinary journey of a man who crossed the Philippines on foot. 54-year-old Lito de Viterbo spent 5 months this year crisscrossing the country from Maira-Ira in Pagudpud, Ilocos Norte to Tinaca. Did I say that right? Yes. Tinaca in Glan, Sarangani. That's about 2,300 kilometers. Lito's goal? Push for leave no trace principles or low impact and low waste practices to minimize harm to the environment. Lito is also organizing documents to apply for an entry in the Guinness Book of World Records, but he wants his story to be focused more on environmental awareness. In his long trek, the mountaineer only brought a reusable water bottle, 3 sets of red clothes para makita, iwas aksidente, an emergency kit, a raincoat, and GPS trackers. And we have that amazing mountaineer with us live. Hi, Lito. Thank you for coming kahit mapagyo.
Yes.
Total, sanay ka naman maglakad.
Yes. Good evening, ladies. Thank you for inviting me to be here tonight.
What an awesome accomplishment.
Yes.
When did that idea start in your head?
Well, I'm a mountaineer. I'm a trained mountaineer. So I'm exposed to the outdoors. And being exposed to the outdoors basically exposed me to a different environment. And this is where the Leave No Trace principles came in. So as a mountaineer, I advocated Leave No Trace principles as a set of guidelines to minimize our impacts to the environment. Then I thought, why not trek the Philippines? So basically, primary to my quest is basically to promote environmental awareness in outdoor ethics, so that I can share what I know, because I'm a certified Leave No Trace Level 2 instructor. So I thought that I'd trek the Philippines and share my knowledge, and I was able to do that.
As you do the trek.
Yes,
as well.
I stopped
also,
I stopped at specific locations, specific cities and towns along the way during my rest day, because it's not every day that I walk.
Oo naman.
I take a rest because I have to have recovery for the legs.
Yeah.
So during my rest days, local organizations, usually mountaineers and LGUs, they organize the people and identify the venue. Then when I pass by the town or the city, I come in as the resource speaker. And these are all planned. This is planned. Even my trek around in the...
So may schedule at this
Yes.
point in this X city.
Everything is planned and everything went as
Oh,
planned.
because that's one of
Basically,
your principles.
plan ahead and prepare.
Plan ahead.
And that actually materialized during the trek. That's why right now, when people ask me, what's the learning that you had during the trek? Prep. You have to prepare mentally, physically, emotionally, financially as well. Yes, because this is costly. Malaki yung
Mahal,
gastos.
magkano ginastos mo? If you can reveal to us.
It's substantial because I
Six
stayed.
digits more.
Yes, six digits. Yes, because I stayed in hotels. So that basically ate the most of the cost. I stayed in hotel. Although some hotels provided me complimentary stays,
Yeah.
because when I told them of my quest to cross the Philippines, they said, "Oh, yeah, we'll give you a complimentary."
Great.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
I
yeah.
had a lot of this.
So
Of course, yes.
It's great to know that people also embrace
Yes.
what you're teaching.
Yes, yes. That's really when I pass by municipality or towns, when they know what I'm doing, they're receptive to it, they embrace what I'm doing, and they organize the local community.
How many talks were you able to give in
More than-
5 months?
More than 10, around
More
10.
than 10.
Yes, around more than
And
10.
you also mentioned you're a certified Leave No Trace.
Level.
How do you get a certification like that?
I went to the US to train, because Leave No Trace came from the US. I'm just the one who is actively promoting it in the Philippines.
Are there many of you who advocate Leave No Trace, or ikaw lang?
You're
I'm the
known
most.
as Mr. L&T,
Yes.
right?
I'm known as
No
Mr. I'm known as Mr.
L&T.
LNT because of my
No
advocacy that
Trace.
focuses on Leave No Trace. It's more of how we can minimize our impacts to the environment. So if you have a lot of impacts, most of those are negative. So my objective is to at least put that impact to a minimum.
Leave no trace when you travel or in your life as well, in your daily life.
I'm trying to promote Leave No Trace not just for the outdoors, but also in everyday life. one very good example I always use is the use of reusable water container
Yeah.
versus
I
yes,
practice
this
that.
one, yes.
Yeah.
This is one very good example. You know, plan ahead and prepare. You know you're going to drink water. Why not bring your own water in your own reusable container, translating to zero trash?
How big was your jug? I'm curious.
It's a 1L.
1L only?
1L, of course, I have a bladder as well, which is
Okay,
a 2 liter as well, 2 liter bladder, water bladder, which I put in my pack. So I have 3 liters. Of, and I refill at the karinderya, restaurants. I make pakiusap.
Ang dami mo rin siguro na-discover about the Philippines, ano?
Yes, as far as the environment. He
Well,
wants
looking
me-
at your photos here,
Yes.
Tito, no,
All
I
right.
saw that you met so many people also in your 5-month journey. Tell
Yes.
us about some of the stories you collected, the people you encountered. What was so memorable?
One is when I started in Pagudpud, the town of Pagudpud gave me a send-off. Complete with
really?
program. I attended the flag ceremony in the morning. It was a Monday. Then, this one. So they gave me a full entourage when I started at the municipio. after
Right
the
now,
flag-
binabayo ng ni Crising ang Pagudpud.
Hi,
May kasama ka for the pagudpud leg.
Yes.
Sinamahan ka nung mga yan, yung mga
Yes,
nasa
kasama po.
photo.
So after the flag ceremony, there was a ceremonial walk, which actually turned into the real walk. So dire-diretso na.
Wala nang sumama sa'yo sa walk na yun.
Sumama sila.
Those
All of
people,
them.
Oh,
they
talaga?
joined the army, the
Until
municipal
you
police.
reach the next town.
Yes, the boundary where you have that Pagudpud arc. That's where they stopped. That's where we had this
Then mag-isa
photo
ka na.
of. Then I was alone na. then along the way, some friends joined me at specific locations. Well, the design was to be a solo trek, but along the way, some people joined me, some for photo op. Some joined me, the longest that a friend of mine joined me was 4 days.
4 days. Where was Agusan?
Agusan del Sur. It was a planned thing. So it was really planned.
Actually, maganda ang mga gubat doon, di ba? O meron pa
Yes,
ba?
there are many isolated areas, which actually
Were there
a concern.
scary moments?
Yes, of course. My number one,
Hindi ka naman na-hold up or anything?
that's the number one in my list in terms of difficulty, safety.
Okay.
So because I had to pass through areas where there are less people, there are less houses, so safety is a concern. So
Okay.
in this case, I hire a convoy, a tricycle or habal just to be ahead of me or beside me or the back. Then also another highlight is when I get to Glan, the last town, Glan town, they provided me as security support. The police, they provided for every day when I entered the boundary of the Glan, they were there waiting for me, and it's been planned. 6 months ago, I was already talking with them. So everything is planned and everything
Prep
went as
talaga.
planned.
Galing.
Yes, even my accommodation, I know where I'm going to stay. Hindi siya yung
So, gano'ng katagal ang planning?
10 months.
Oh.
I applied
Coordination
I
pa.
applied for Guinness March 2024. Then it took months for the approval, which came with the guidelines. So everything they did was basically based on the Guinness guidelines that I received.
So now you will have to document it for them to give you the
That's it,
distinction.
yes. Right now, there's no, just to be clear, there's no Guinness record right now. Everything is subject to validation by Guinness. I have to submit all the documentation I had. That includes photos with time and date on the photo itself.
Timestamps.
Wow.
Not just a metadata, nasa mismong yung sa picture mismo, nandun yung date. Videos, diary. Every day I do have a diary. And of course,
Amazing.
Was there
So-
ever a point that you wanted to quit? Or parang physically, like, di ko na kaya to? Or that's where mental toughness comes
Yes,
in?
that's where the mental strength came in. There was never a moment that I wanted to give up because I was busy documenting it. Well, basically, around in 100% in a day, I walk between 6 hours to 8 hours every day. Almost 20-25% is spent on documentation. I had to stop in cities, city hall, barangay hall, police station to have documentation.
Tapos magcha-charge ka pa. Kasi may mga battery yun. Makikicharge ka.
Everything is fully charged before I leave the hotel.
Okay,
Because
okay.
if I stop at Karinderya, tatagal ako doon. So, very essential yung I have to reach the
So
specific
may
time.
planning din talaga.
Everything is planned, accommodation, where I will stop, who are the people who will join me at specific, and the lectures, the Live Notice workshops. We call it the Live No Trace Workshop. These
Gumawa
are
ka na rin ng libro.
That's the plan.
Okay, great.
That's the plan. Siguro pagka 60 na ako.
Bakit? Ba't mag-aantay ka pa?
Siguro walang time pa ngayon.
What's next? What's next for you? What's your next journey?
Right now, I will now I'm back in Manila. I would continue the Live No Trace workshops in Metro Manila and around. Actually, I have this Live No Trace caravan where we go around the Philippines teaching Live No Trace. And
Is that your day job or do you have?
I have a full-time job.
Oh, yeah.
That's my weekend
Care
thing.
to share?
What do you do?
I work in a BPO company.
Oh.
During the week, I work in a BPO company, and during the weekend, I'm in the outdoors, teaching Live No Trace and climbing mountains and running.
Was your company supportive of this mission? Because you had to take a leave for like 5 months, right?
Yes, everybody was supportive. The company where I work, the family, even my office mates, they're actually monitoring where I was because I avoided posting on social media ahead. I always posted 1 week later after parang nakalampas na dapat ako. Kasi
Smart
baka may, that's for safety. Because forget this, Facebook is not a documentation. It's not
counted.
It's not accounted.
I'm curious, quickly, ano yung place that really surprised you and medyo accessible siya for a regular tourist maybe who wants to explore a very exotic place in the Philippines?
I would say the start and the finish. I would say Pagudpod
and Glan.
And Glan. Because these two places are really important in my journey. Because that's where I started.
Tsaka
They give me the
maganda.
send off.
But I've never been to Glan.
Yes, Pagudpod. And
Pagudpod
Glan.
maganda.
Yes, and Glan is the same thing. They have white beaches there. I didn't know before I started.
Did you have tuna lechon?
Ang ganda ng mga photos. Where is that gubat?
That's the last part.
That's in Glan.
Yes.
That's in Glan?
That's in Glan.
Ang ganda.
We had to trek because it was raining. During the last part, I was supposed to take a boat. So that's the last part. We were joined by the barangay captain.
And your security, you said they
That's the
provided
yes.
the security.
They provided security for 3 days and the last day.
Ano yung Tinaka Beach? That's in Glan. Okay,
Yeah,
tell
in
us
Tinaka
about
Beach,
that.
Tinaka Beach is in Glan, and just 50 meters away is Tinaka Point. Tinaka Point is the technical southernmost point of Mindanao Island, not Mindanao.
The landmass of Mindanao.
So that's the one. We were coming from the beach. That's the beach. Then just
Uy,
off
punta
that,
tayo dyan.
then we were now walking. That's my friend Ayi.
It's not much known yet, huh? That place?
Is there
It's
somewhere to
not-
stay?
It's not accessible. It's
not accessible?
You have to walk?
It's an isolated area. I think Guinness just saw it as the
But it's
southernmost.
beautiful. You wouldn't have done it, right? If not for this mission.
Yes,
I mean, you wouldn't have
I
gotten
wouldn't
there.
have known.
Yeah.
Even Glan, I didn't know that there are beaches there, which I didn't get to enjoy during the time. So the plan is to go back there. So Pagudpod with the beautiful beaches, accessible, and Glan is the same thing.
DOT should get you as an ambassador.
I know.
So for the Philippines.
With the right principles of traveling.
Right. Yeah, with traveling, that's what I promote. When you travel, try to leave no trace.
So very quickly
just
for
memories. Yes,
for
just memories.
those who are interested in Leave No Trace, did you have a website? Just before we say goodbye to you.
Yeah. Sorry, we need to say goodbye na eh. Yeah, but
Where can they find you? Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, just look for me. You can go to my site, which is walkphilippines.com. Or you can just find me on Facebook, Lito de Viterbo. Or you can just say, just search Leave No Trace, Lito, and it will come up as me, as Mr. LNT in the Philippines.
Right, that's
Thank
pretty
you
easy
so
to
much.
find. Thank you so much.
Congratulations. You're such an inspiring...
Yeah, one thing is confirmed now is I'm the first one to traverse the
Yes.
Philippines from Maira Point, Pagudpod, Ilocos Norte to
Glan.
Tinaka Point, Glan,
Sarangani.
Sarangani. The Guinness is subject to validation.
Oh,
All right.
I'm sure that inspired a lot of people. So thank you so much for joining
Thank
us
you.
and for sharing your story with us, Mountaineer Lito de Viterbo. But before we go, we still have time for our big picture tonight. We get a glimpse of destruction on marine life by the ongoing construction of the Samal Island Davao City Bridge. This video was shot by an anonymous Samal resident and sent to John Lacson, a volunteer marine biologist with Save Paradise Reef. Dr. Lacson says the clip was taken on April 22 this year underneath a craneway spanning the shoreline of Samal and mainland Davao. The craneway is supposed to support the pillar for the bridge. And what we're seeing are fragments of staghorn corals killed during construction. On Wednesday, Dr. Lacson told the Big Story that a quarter of the reefs on the path of the bridge is already dead, and the destruction is irreversible. On July 1st, the Supreme Court issued a writ of kalikasan on the bridge's construction, but just days later, the Court of Appeals denied the issuance of a temporary environmental protection order on the project, which at the moment is already 38% complete.
Yan yung pinag-uusapan namin. Just to close the week, and sakto we have Lito here, that was the semento na napunta sa reef because of construction. It wasn't by sadya, but just as a result of the activities of construction. So nice, we close the loop on our story. But
we have an environmental advocate and a video showing the destruction of the environment. That's life.
And that's the Big Story for this week. Thank you so much for watching.
It's going to be a rainy weekend, but we are One News, all sides, all the time.
We'll be back here Monday at 7:30. Good night and have a safe weekend.
Coming up next, we have Play-by-Play with Andre Felix and Cheska Liton-Calao. I'm talking at like 50 words per minute because...
Sorry, guys!
Sorry, guys!
Sorry! Marami na tayong utang sa kanila.
Sobrang dami.
8:34 now.
As a mountaineer who is nowhere near Sir Lito's level, thank you so much for advocating for the environment. And that's why we always say, take nothing but pictures, leave nothing but footprints, and kill nothing but time.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Cheska.
Maybe a mosquito. Or two.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Okay na, 8:34
Okay na. Go
na.
na, go. Bilisan mo na,
May
Andre.
guest din kami ngayon. Si Kifa kami
Hindi na sweet sa atin si Andre.
Oo nga, sabi niya, hoy guys ha.
Galit na, galit.
Hindi. Kaya ko bang magalit
Sino
sa'yo?
ba tayong tatlo? Lahat na.
Kaya ko bang magalit kay Pawi?
Mamaya ka sa akin.
Oo, pag-uwi, ikaw, huwag mo kaming inaano. Joke lang. But happy weekend, sir. Happy weekend din po, Lito. Thank you for joining The Big Story. Thank you to Cez Rolon, Sean Yao, Pauline Versosa, The Big Story, primetime newscast on One News. And from them to our show, on our sports show, we've got NBA star Damian Lillard set for a Portland homecoming for Dame time. Plus, eto na, dapat